So I hope my screen is visible and I am audible. Mm, And in case you lose me during a call, just let me know. Sometime issues happens. So today we will be covering basically ICH in relation to pharmacovigilance, or you can say the drug safety. We will be covering the impact of definitely E2 guideline, but also I will tell you how E6 is also related to this thing, and we will also cover that on each stage. It's not like pharmacovigilance only start happening when you are processing the cases, right? No, it start at the time of a protocol. Tomorrow you may be working with some pharma company, so pharma company you have to complete the cycle. It's not only at the end, like in a contract research organization, CROs, you receive a some case, you process it and your duty is done. No, you start from here. You become part of a planning, because our clinical trials have three stages, planning, then based on planning you conduct a trial, and then finally we write our CSR, and you can, or you do the publication. That is our story of a clinical trial, right? So, or you can say here, analysis of the results. So from here we plan. Based on that planning we conduct our clinical trial, and then CSR and publication. Now in CSR also PV has a role to play, right? So just keep the bigger picture in mind. So now how this pharmacovigilance came into picture, everyone knows this came from this thalidomide tragedy, which was then over the counter medication, right, for a several indications. The thing is, when Dr. Magritte and Lenz, they were from different countries, they made a publication, and in the Lancet. You always know that active passive surveillance type thing, right? And this is case reporting. They published the case. What was that case? This is their publication, and I will also request you go to your Google or any AI app. Download this publication. It is interesting to read. But they observed very basic thing, that normally babies observe 1.5 birth defect. This is the normal rate approximately. But the women who are taking thalidomide, this birth rate is increasing to 20%. It is almost 20%. That is alarming situation. And that too, they noted, the defects in bones, muscles, gut, So they noted the similarity. And with this article, the awareness came in. And this is how your PV came into picture. So now, what is the, again, on a bigger level, the role of pharmacovigilance, that it helps to maintain a balance. We all have studied that 13 GCP principle, right? One of the principle we talk a lot about is risk should be, or you can say otherwise, benefit should be more than risk, or vice versa. Risk should be always less than benefit. How you measure this curve? How you measure this in a real time from the SAEs, AEs, ADRs. If this is high, that means risk is high. Then who helps to maintain this equation positively? Pharmacovigilance. Not only once the drug is in the market, but also when you are doing your clinical trial. We understand no medication or no drug is free without side effect. A drug without side effect is not a drug, right? But we also favor that treatment benefit should be, or benefit of drug should be greater. So better knowledge is helping us to take a better decision. Who bring this knowledge? When you process different cases in pharmacovigilance. And you will also see PV is always a biggest team. And there are many chances, because in PV also you process the safety narratives. in a SEOM form, and then you process the safety narrative. So suppose you wanted to move from PV to MW or a vice versa, it's easy. But for PV, I always also advise the pharmacy people should prefer this. I'm not saying that life sciences students should not do this, but because for PV, you should be having a sound understanding of your whole drug, different names of your drug, classification, and everything. Generally, a life sciences student or biotech, they are not having that in-depth idea of all this classification, right? And pharmacokinetics, dynamics in a better way, right? So that advanced level knowledge you can use in your P. And even if you have PharmD or a PhD in pharmacy, then you can also work as a medical monitor or a medical reviewer. You can aim these jobs. But for what difference for these two roles is that you need advanced level of knowledge of a pharmacy. Because earlier they were preferring only the medical people. But now you as a pharmacy PG or you have a PhD, then you can go in these type of fields also. Why we monitor drug safety and who sets the rules? These rules are by regulatory authority. So why we prefer ICH? Because almost all the FDA, you take example of a DCGI or any other regulatory authorities, they follow this. So although ICH itself is not a regulation, it is not a regulation, correct? It is a guidance. But when FDA says in their regulation that you should follow ICH, that means in an inspection, if you have not followed ICH, you can be punished under law, because this is indirectly making it mandatory. Same is DCGI, same is take an example of MHRA or take an example of EU or any country, because in their guidance, they are saying, I'm sorry, guidance is not the right word. In their regulation, they are saying, follow ICH guidance, correct? So it become more strict then. So this everyone knows. We need not to go too much in detail that how it came into existence. Main is this is for a harmonization, because they are an equal partner, regulatory agency also and industry also. And today also, when suppose FDA is or any even EU, they are drafting new regulations. They call industry to seek their opinions. Why this is needed? Because if they are making guidelines which may not be possible to follow them, then there is no purpose of these guidelines. Like what happened EU CTIS, that is, that EU CTIS came in 2024. Initially, they passed the regulation, which was quite strict. Then that they were asking lot many documentation that will become public. But then most of the pharma raised a concern on confidentiality. Then they revised in 2025. So that's how this goes. So goal for ICH is that reduce the redundancy, duplication, so that we can focus on these three: safety, quality, and efficacy. So now this is totally handled by PB function. Safety, correct? Quality is more applicable when you're doing vaccine trial, right? Or you are doing the manufacturing. Now, these are the topics. I can show you on a website that they have a safety, they have a quality. But for us, the important is this. That's why we refer them with E2, E6, E3. Anyone, do you know? These are very easy. Like E2 is referring to which guidance? or E6 to which, E3 to which? Anyone answer in chat? It's okay if the answer is wrong, completely acceptable. E2 is for which field? Your function pharmacovigilance. And anyone, if you know E3 is? E3 is followed for which document? CSR. I don't know. Everyone is sleeping today. Not good. And this is your GCP, this is your PV, this is your CSR. Now, GCP also got revised. This E6 is revised, always remember, this year. What is new in this? They are saying, in nutshell, there are 2 or 3 highlights. One is they are saying, replace the word subject with participant. Remember this. This question can be asked you in interviews. What is new in this GCP? They are saying, replace the subject, address it with the participant. That is one thing. Another is, they are saying, focus on digital tools. Even they have given instruction to site, they should be also using digital tools. Digitalization, computerization is the keyword and the focus. What else? Virtual, informed consent. That it's okay, take a help of Zoom, take a help of a technology to conduct a informed consent form. And also they said, go beyond the usual qualification. On a qualification also they have given a highlight. Go beyond the usual qualification. People should be having advanced specific qualifications, like in AI or the field they are working. So that's the new things, highlight of this new revision. Coming back to our topic, that safety, that's mostly for our preclinical quality if you are working in a manufacturing. But for us today is efficacy guidelines that we will be focusing, and the multidisciplinarily as well. For you as a PV student, terminology, Medra dictionary, that is important to refer. So maximum E, then M. So these are the different highlight of a efficacy guideline. E2, we are our PV guidelines. I will show you each. E3 is your CSR. And E4 is dose response studies, but mostly we don't need that. E5 is ethnic factors. This is what got revised this year. Good clinical practices. So as a PV student, you should know this and this. So clear? These are the two that you should know. Because even you are working as CRC, CRA, CTA, safety associate, a TMF specialist, and even a monitor, this is mandatory. GCP is mandatory for everyone, right? And you as a PV experts should also know E2 guidelines. Any question till now? Okay, all cool, huh? So let's go back, huh? So now I see GCP content, because we have wanted to address in concerns of in a relationship of PV. So these are the one that are suggesting how to design, how to conduct, how to report, how to record and report the data. First, design is planning. Based on this planning, you will do trial. Then you record the data, take the readings basically, and then finally you analyze. So GCP is the ethical and scientific standards around that. Now, during design, where you have to, in relationship to PV, where you have to focus. We are always focusing that this our protocol is scientifically sound. Then planning has been done in a right way. All resources are well documented. Randomization is blinding procedure is proper, right? So now, where your role is primarily. So when under safety section of protocol, so there are different sections: efficacy, ethics committee, eligibility criteria, introduction, all are different section of protocol. But safety section of protocol, you also have to write this medical management, AEs or SA management, or it is also known as a PV plan. So that is your role at time of a planning, and according to what you have written in a protocol, accordingly your team will be working. So for a recording, whatever you have written here, one example, what can be the difference? Like hospitalization, your trial is on infants, so you have defined hospitalization 6 hours. If 6 hour for 6 hour child is in hospital, it will consider hospitalization. Hospitalization means SC. So now, based on that, you will design case report form. So then there will be one question like this. You have to tick or cross. Is child in hospital more than 6 hours? Something like that. Then this will tick or a cross, because that is as per protocol. That is your PV. I'm skipping the other things because I'm just focusing on a PV thing. Reporting, you have to report AEs, because if patient comes in saying, complaining that I am having headache, if the team is not reporting, then it is not making sense, right? Then data will not get recorded. And back to your protocol, here it will be giving you detail also, like any small and major event if patient is experiencing, it should be reported. So tomorrow you are not reporting some event and it is written in your protocol, it will become deviation. Initially it will become deviation, then if there are major things, then it will become violation. That means you are not following the GCP. Sorry. Now this I have discussed a number of times. Any interview you walk in, CRC, CRA, CTA, medical writer, clinical trial transparency associate, this is your ask question. What is difference between adverse event and reaction? Anyone, what is the difference? Okay, today energy is low, huh? So see, when you see, I give you one trick. When you see D is there, that means drug, adverse drug reaction, adverse event. So the only difference is relatedness. So ADR means there may be a relationship with the drug. That's why in middle there is a drug. Or memorize it as a trick. So if the D word is there inside the abbreviation, say that it is may be related to drug. So adverse event, it may be, may not be. Suppose your clinical trial is there. 1000 AE happened. But after the analysis is done, only 50 are ADRs. So all A's are not ADRs, but all ADRs are A's. How this happens? Suppose today patient came in, I have severe headache. It's very simple and go to thing. I have severe headache. The doctors will process it. It will be reported. But now it will be reported as A. Now additional test done. Next day, additional test done. Then it came to light that it is related to drug. It is harming a patient. Then it will become AD, like that. So now ADRs are very important when we have to determine the safety of a drug. If ADR number is high, that means safety is in question. Especially when you see that drug is in the market, some new ADR came. Some new ADR came into notice, then you see that no, it is not a standalone event. Similar incidents we are observing globally. So that means you have to update the leaflet or a safety section of a drug. Now, what is difference between SAE and AE? Seriousness. If it is falling in the criteria of seriousness, it will become SAE. Right? I'm just trying to simplify it. Suppose patient reported same example headache, but now the headache is so severe that you hospitalize that patient. Hospitalization is one of the SAE criteria, right? Then it will initially it is reported AE, then it become SAE. Now next thing, what will happen? Okay, here is now. And this SAE related, it is related to drug. Then it will become serious adverse drug reaction, and this is very bad thing. It can stop your trial, because if drug is causing death, hospitalization, it is then your thalidomide, right? So then you have to maybe relook your, maybe dose adjustment is needed, maybe for some under specialized monitoring condition you have to give a drug, but these things happen. So what is SUSAR? Suspected unexpected serious adverse reaction. Is this known reaction? Then is suspected. If no, then event is considered unexpected. Now, how you will come to know known, unknown? And always remember investigator brochure. Suppose I am an investigator. I am an investigator. Patient came in seizure. Patient experienced seizure. What investigator will check? Check the invest IB. If it is already mentioned in informed consent in IB that maybe during preclinical studies, maybe during lab tests, they may have a slightest indication, then it become no. But if it is not mentioned in IB, then it will become unexpected. And how about if the drug is in the market? Then you will see the leaflet of a drug. Whenever you take a medicine from there is one another name also, it's not in my mind for that leaflet. You go to a medical store, then one slip always come out of it, the detail of drug is always mentioned on that. That pamphlet is come. If it is there, then it's known. If it is not there, then it's on. Understanding SUSAR concept, start from the last word and move backward. That's the easiest way to understand. The event is suspected to be related, suspected adverse reaction. Related, wherever is related, that means reaction. And the event is serious, then serious adverse reaction. And event is unexpected, then becomes suspected, unexpected, serious adverse reaction. That's why this start from last word. It's related, reaction. It is serious, serious. It is unexpected, add the word unexpected. So this is the relationship of how you do the assessment. This is when you will be working in the safety team. So if you are working with investigator, do you think if you're working at a site, they need someone who can give a PV inputs? They don't have a PV teams, but your work is similar. You will be working as a in a safety team. Mostly in a site and hospital, they are referring to a safety team who process the serum form. So adverse event, if it is related, it become ADR. Adverse event, if it is serious, it become SA. Serious also, plus reaction also, it becomes SUSAR. Expected, then becomes SUSAR. So that is the easiest way to remember it. Okay. Now, responsibility. Whose responsibility is what? Look at this graph. Regulatory authority. They have responsibility in everything. Whereas patient, they have to just report, because patient is the one they come to know that I'm not feeling well. I have to report. I will explain you here in detail. Investigator, detection. So initially, if something goes wrong with the patient, who is the first one come to know about it? Investigator, the doctor. So if doctor or is not reporting AE, SAE on time, that means not following the safety guidelines. And not only that, he also have to check, give their initial opinion, is it related or expectedness. There are times many pharmacy students, because you as a pharmacy student have a very big role to play in a clinical trial. They also ask, can I be investigator? Yes, you can. Only when you have a physician on board. Because all these questions, your safety physician can address. Understanding of investigator brochure in court, this guy is responsible. Prevention, informing patient or participants. Now we are not using this word. I'm sorry. So participants, make the habit. I also have to change. And he also have to check that are we following the protocol. What is minimum but must be reported? Minimum element to make a case valid. Patient identifier, product name, an event, and who is reporting. These are, even if you see the SIOM form, why SIOM form is so much favorite of everyone is because all these sections are, their section is made. You have to add the information. It is just like if you are adding information online, that system will not allow you to move forward if you are not answering a previous question. So now, time frames. What are time frames? ACE, you know that they have a continuous safety assessment program. They have to record information on a CRF and then keep on accumulating data, and 6 monthly they make a report and then submit. But here is a bigger responsibility. Within 24 hours, the moment they become aware of event. Example, aware, this is important, aware. Suppose there is a person, Ram, who was hospitalized on 16 October at 3 p.m. Correct? Now, the family, they didn't realize that we also have to report our site. Now, on 7th October, 10 a.m., this is important to understand. They reported to site, or maybe from a site someone called. So now from here 24 hours, not from here. There are times that essay remains hidden for a month. I have seen in real time. So the moment they came to know that their patient is in a hospital, that from 17 October 10 a.m. to means 18 October 9:59 a.m. is his time. Correct? That 24 hours. Initial report they have to send, later they can update it. So this is just on documentation. They have to document everything that it is verifiable, right? Assessment of AE, this is very easy. Basically, they have to record a on case report. Normally, you call the patient, are you okay? How are you doing this? Oh, today I'm okay. Yesterday, I was having a high BP. That also you may have collected information on a telephone, but you have to add in a case report. So this we can skip. Now, sponsor. Now, what is the role of sponsor? Sponsor has to ensure that investigator is following everything. How he do? Easiest example. From detection, assessment, understanding, and prevention, or everything. How he do? We have a one thing known as a monitoring. That is that they will say that, okay, are they sending the notification AESCs on time? Is they are doing the assessment correctly? Because when monitors will be going on a site, they will be reviewing the data in detail. Now, in a planning phase, there are certain roles related to PV. Clinical trial protocol. Do you need data monitoring committee? Who will act as a medical monitor? Who will take care of a SUSAR? And what is the reference safety information? So at the planning stage, when you are just planning for your clinical trial, these are very important aspects to keep in mind. Now I will address one each. So this is important. This you need to keep in your mind as a pharmacovigilance expert. Sorry. So clinical trial protocol. It should be having a proper description of known potential risk and benefits in a way to human. And in a safety section, how you will handle AEs and SAEs. Even in protocols, you also give a definition of AEs, SAEs, and every ADRs. Because suppose you're doing a oncology trial, your what you say hospitalization may be different. So all that you have to define in a protocol. Now, this is the section, yeah, I always speak about. 6.8 assessment of a safety. So what you would give in a protocol like that? Specify the safety parameters, the method and timing of assessing, recording, analyzing the safety parameter, procedure for the reports. Yeah, this is nothing. This will be simply saying that all A's will be recorded, except noting the exception. Like for infants, I told you that hospitalization, one example can be 6 hours. There can be one more critical trial. Maybe they can consider 4 hours only. Another example, oncology trial. Patient is already in hospital, so they have to specify here. So even mostly these are the standard languages there, but people make changes as per study. Who will give you this information when someone is writing protocol? Pharmacovigilance expert. Type and duration, since how long you will be following the patient for a follow-up. Even you would list the emergency contacts, like, okay, how patient will report? You must have given some 24-hour line that here you can report your AESAs. You also have to define expedited reporting. Also have to define when AEs will be reported, what is severity, how is the hospitalization, a risk assessment. So as per PV guideline, I will show you on this website also, R2 risk assessment for clinical trial should be done as early as possible. Why? For patient safety. How you do this? From a previous data, from your animal study. Okay, these are the safety concerns. These are the already known expected A's or S's. And how you mitigate that? Maybe somewhere you have adjusted a dose, somewhere you have followed the patient, somewhere you have done some action. That is risk assessment. And plus, when trial is ongoing, you do ongoing evaluation. continuously monitoring. If trial drug is in the market, then also from safety reports, you are evaluating the safety. So this is study specific, assessment is required. So I have tried to give you a real time example. So like neutropenia is expected event that requires hospitalization in oncology trial. Protocol can define that these events are not be reported as expidating as an SAEs or rather regular AEs. Now, can you see the difference? Just spend here 1 minute and you will be able to see the difference. So this is it will be defined in your protocol. Risk assessment justified. Now, second example that AEs should be collected only after investigational medicinal product is administered, not the time of informed consent. So this clarification, most of the protocol is give that collect. We say that population, define population, that once you give the investigational product, then only A or SAE is reported. What is the example? Suppose today I came in, I signed in consent. I am so ready. Then they said like, okay, we have to do some certain medical test, then only we'll see. Next day, they realized that no, I may not be able to go ahead. So if I am reporting any AE that I have headache, I had fever, that will not be counted unless I am not taking medicinal product. This is always defined in the protocol. So these are the examples how you do the risk assessment. Data monitoring committee, very important. All your trial from phase 1 to phase 3 is having DMC. They are independent experts. They review the safety data. I give you one example. When we were doing phase 3 trial, in then we there was one SAE happened and child died, and there was slight expectation child died from diarrhea, and we were working on a vaccine to prevent a diarrhea, direct contraindication, right? So unless the final report didn't came, then our trial was stopped, temporarily stopped. And then DMC, till the time DMC has not submitted their report that it's not related to drug or whatsoever is, they explained everything scientifically, we were not able to restart the trial. So all trial they are having, especially phase 1 to 3 sensitive trials, they look this committee look the safety aspect of a trial as an independent reviewer. So just so if you are having any protocol, you search DMC. You try searching DMC. You will be seeing one section. So how you will define that DMC is needed? This is our simplest answer is based on complexity. And especially phase 1 to 3, sponsors are keeping the DMC because they don't want to put themselves in a difficulty. If the DMC is not needed, if the trial is post phase 4 trial, already NDA application is filed. We have already conducted 3 phase 3 successfully. So that means some observational trial, low risk trial, then you don't need DMC. Any question till now? Now I will quickly cover different guidelines for each section. We have covered most of our part, but still I'm happy to take a question. Yes, that's the correct. Someone posted answer in chat. That's correct. Okay, so now I wanted to share with you quick update. What are the different, guides you can refer for a different reporting? There is development safety update report. Very important. Developed word is indicating this is annual review related to safety. During drug development, suppose from phase 1 to phase 3. So if you have to submit a report, which guideline you have to follow? Easier DSUR. It is a single report which is prepared. And here is the link of a guideline. I will show you on a browser, so don't worry. You will be able to download everything. So the compliance with GCP provides the assurance that the rights and safety or well-being are protected. And Declaration of Helsinki also you should know. It was also revised in 2024. Again, the highlight was same. There is for these guidelines, I will let me show you first, because I think that 2 slides are missing. So E2F, E2A to F. So these are all PV guidelines. I will show you on the browser. Sorry for that. I think I changed the slides. Okay, meanwhile, all this, like for US, we have FDA. They are the one who are focusing on their territory. Idea is like, now question will come that which regulation will apply. Suppose you are selling a drug in US, or suppose you are doing a research in US, or it is getting manufactured, then it is FDA's in the scope. How it will be in the scope of CDSCO, DCGI India, if you are doing a research in India, if you are selling a drug in India, or if you are manufacturing drug in India. Suppose you are doing globally, then you have to submit to all the regulatory agencies. You have to follow the local variations for all the countries. So for FDA, these are the 2 centers you need to remember. CDR is for drug, and CBER is for biologics. If you want, you can remember rest of them also, but these are the 2 centers are responsible: drugs and biologics. Suppose it is a vaccine, then it will go to this unit. And what system they follow for a reporting? MedWatch, through FDA adverse event reporting system. So this you should remember. At least FDA, MHRA, EU, India, their reporting system you should know. Europe, their agencies, European Medicinal Agency. Earlier they were having a guidance, or most probably this was known with the directive, that we are giving a direction, more a kind of guidance. Now in 2024, they have launched EU CITES. New revised, now this is regulation. So they are also having a different committees, like committee for medicinal product use, for human use, for veterinary use, for orphan drugs, for herbal products, and advanced therapy. Europe is also one territory where they are having a different guidelines for pediatric population. Their timelines are more stringent for a pediatric population. Udra vigilance, so that is their system to report the AEs and SEs. Now MHRA, earlier it was under the EU, but now they are a independent regulatory body. They are not associated with the EU in any way, right? So the goal is same. Goal for all regulatory agencies is same: to assess safety, quality, and efficacy of medicine. But the only difference with FDA and EU is they are also taking care of medicine. Oh, sorry, veterinary products. They also oversee audits, but their reporting system is yellow cards. Japan, they are also having PMDA. They established in 2004. But Japan, I was also there once in their meeting. They are very closely working with EU. So much so they are having weekly calls. The collaboration between these two regulations is too much. So they are following just each other's footsteps. Now, Uppsala Monitoring Center, everyone should know. They are having a busy ways. You can also do a training from their website. Mostly a reporting to over 75 countries. Data is supplied by national authorities. It's just like that. All the national, like US, EU, India, Japan, may take the name of any country. They are collecting AEs and that is getting reported into VGPs. So here on, we are, suppose in India we see that heart rate is 2%. We saw that here is 0. EU, they're also reporting 3%. Japan is also, that all will come here, and here it will give you a global number. But the only thing is, they are not reviewing or assessing individual case. They are, this job role is with the individual countries. I think slides got stuck. Sorry.